Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I am super pissed off right now, and I'm going to try to keep this as cordial as possible when ranting about Electronic Arts. And I know I've ranted plenty of times about EA in the past, and honestly, at the end of the day, this video has very little to do with EA, and a lot more to do with the ESRB. This is where greed has gotten us in the video game industry. Activision, Blizzard, Bungie, EA, all these AAA publishers that are creating microtransactions and loot boxes, preying on minors that don't know any better, preying on people who are addicted and have gambling addictions and gambling tendencies in their lives. And now because they've preyed on these people and it's come to the forefront of the news, now the government is getting involved.
There were two bills we really wanted to give you guys to draft today.
We'd like to prohibit the sale of video games that have gambling mechanisms in them to minors, to anyone under the age of 21.
That's Chris Lee, the Democratic member of the Hawaii House of Representatives, is now trying to craft a bill so that loot crates and loot boxes and gambling mechanisms in video games are limited to people over the age of 21. And while on the surface I love the idea of it and I agree with it and I think it's great, it's an incredibly bad slippery slope for the government to be getting involved in video games.
You know, the point that I'm making, Senator, is that the game ratings, it just doesn't go far enough. We have to get our hands on the game content.
This should not be happening. This is why the ESRB was founded in 1994, to stop the government from intervening with video games. And because the ESRB is in bed with EA and they can't get their crap together, now we all have to pay for it. The ESRB was saying that loot boxes are not gambling, when they clearly are gambling. And now we have this issue coming to the forefront of government, and it's gonna be a slippery slope going downhill from here.
So if you were to buy a $200 sword in a video game, but you knew that you were getting that sword, that would not fall under the definition.
Correct.
But if you were going to spend $200 to buy a percentage chance to get a sword.
Damn, that's an expensive sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as the ESRB came out and said that loot crates and loot boxes are not gambling, that was the spark that lit this fire. First off, the president and CEO of the ESRB currently is Patricia Vance. While Patricia Vance was working at the Walt Disney Company for 18 years prior to becoming the CEO and president of the ESRB, she was responsible for the development of a broad range of new media and marketing materials for the entire Disney organization, going over a whole spectrum of different products, mostly dealing with the entertainment area at abc.com. Now follow me, because on May 6, 2013, EA and Disney signed an exclusive deal for the rights to Star Wars games. And the reason why that's important is because Patricia Vance, prior to being the CEO of the ESRB, worked 18 years at Disney, who owns these rights to the Star Wars games. And I promise you guys, it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets any better.
The most obvious thing is prohibiting the sale of games with predatory game mechanics to those under 21. That's something that I think everybody should be able to agree on.
And for anyone out there who says, it's not bad, the government's getting involved to make sure that we're not getting screwed over by the EA and all these AAA publishers, let me remind you that this is the same government that is not out for the best interest of the people. The government is out for their own interests. This will end badly if the government gets involved. Usually the government is out to protect whoever the highest bidder is, not the little guy.
How does that strike you?
My son was able to go into Best Buy here in South Miami last night and buy it at the age of 12. He was able to buy Vice City, the other incarnation, at the age of 10, no questions asked.
So with this little thing starting as oh, we're just gonna make this little bill ratification to make sure that loot boxes are called gambling so that kids can't get them, just imagine where it goes from here.
Young people played Grand Theft Auto 3, hopped in their truck, ran over a man they didn't even know, went home and started playing the game. They decided that murder was an extension of the game.
Well, Jack, it seems like what you're saying then is clearly this is an issue for children. Then the laws have to get tougher, and you got to make sure that...
If history has taught us anything, the last thing we need is the government to get involved with video games. Thanks so much, EA. Thanks so much, ESRB. Thanks so much for all your greed to cause this coming down on us, the end user, the consumer, the people that feed you are now going to end up getting screwed. Anyways, that's the end of my rant right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.